there was a bit unorthodox. So I took one of the classes in the sequence, experimental storytelling, last semester, which is usually, what is it, the second class in sequence, right?
Yeah, it's the second in the sequence.
Yeah. So took that out of order, and now I'm taking an independent study, which will sort of serve as class in sequence as a replacement. And next semester, I'll be taking the audience development, which should be the first in the sequence.
And Corey is not the norm. He's been kind of like one of my guinea pigs as we've been designing this, kind of working out the bugs and everything. But it is true. You get to talk to Corey, who has had a taste of a little bit of every one of those classes. So that's good. And you also work in the Imagine Lab, which is the home to Texas Immersive students.
Yeah, I started last semester, the middle of last year. I just started like coming by, volunteering, so the lab could be open more. I barely knew how to work my phone, so like the barrier to entry is pretty low for like hanging out in the lab. So don't be intimidated. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've since we had to shelter in place, we've pretty much moved all of the equipment to our different homes, from touch screens, which is at my grad assistant's home on a project we're working on for UT admissions, to I have 2 Quest VR headsets here so we can keep on playing multiplayer, and a lot of 2 Magic Leaps because I'm testing their spatial dynamics, and HoloLens. What else do we have? Oh, I grabbed the Amazon Echo. Because we have, huh?
Did you take Josh's course?
No. I had one and I took the labs. And Josh has his because we've played Dance Central together. Nice. So we're all good here. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and I'll give you a quick overview of Texas Immersive, and then we'll get to questions. A second. Okay. You guys see that? Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. So Texas Immersive, this specialization has started because it's really actually a new field that just in 2019, a group from many different disciplines came to this Immersive Design Summit, whether they were part of advertising, entertainment, gaming, live theater, theme parks, museums. So people from all these variety of disciplines came together, and I've listed them here, came together and actually started to define immersive as a new field to study. And besides UT, there's only 2 other universities in the US that actually have a specialization or a degree that you can really study this field. So this is a really new area. It's an interdisciplinary specialization. So unlike Texas Creative or Texas Media and Analytics, this specialization is open to other students beyond the Stan Richards School. So students from other colleges are encouraged to join. And I really am a firm believer in interdisciplinary work. You can't actually create immersive experiences without having a variety of expertise at the table that are fostering collective intelligence and pulling their knowledge together towards a common goal of a project, a product, or a service. So immersive is a loaded word, okay? It has many meanings. A lot of people think of it as interactive, intimate, experiential experiences. It has a rich history across multiple disciplines that I've talked a little bit about. But often when people think about immersive, they automatically jump to, I want to study VR, virtual reality, or I want to study AR. But VR, I call it the suitcase of internet acronyms. VR, AR, MR, IoT, AI, all are umbrellaed under XR, which is extended reality. And those are the technologies that are shaping immersive, but it's actually learning the affordances of those technologies where you start building immersive experiences. So what I try helping students in Texas Immersive do is learn to be early adopters of these emerging technologies, to not only understand how to build with them, but to understand what the affordances of these technologies are. So as an experienced designer, you know which ones you should choose to create a really rich experience for an audience member. And you can actually then also take this into many different disciplines. Hold on, someone wants in, so let me just let them in. There we go. Oh, Armand is joining. Another explorer is joining Armand, so we'll introduce him at the end of this presentation. So that gives you an idea of like how broad this is, immersive. I do talk about advertising, but I also talk about theater, and I also talk about theme parks, and I also talk about games. You know, like it's such a space that you will be able to have influence in many different fields. So if you've been questioning, I don't know if I want to go work in an agency at the end, maybe this is the right sequence for you, because it will open up doors to other places as well. So let's dive into the possibilities of your future, right? What am I looking for in a student? I am really looking for students who are curious above all, right? Who ask those big questions of what if, but more than just what if and like finding solutions to big problems, they say, well, why the hell not, right? Why not do it? Let's try it, right? The desire to push the boundaries and really think outside what is normal. To be willing when I say, give me your opinion on this, you don't sit back and not share your opinion. Like, I am really curious and I want to hear from you. Like, how do you think? Where do you think audience should go? What do you find unusual or unique? You know, how are you one who explores the blank page, and that you can be innovative enough to surprise me as much as I'll surprise you. And these students, my goal is to accept 48 students a year. It's going to be interdisciplinary. Currently, we not only have advertising students, but we have students in media production from RTF, gaming from AET, computer science from engineering, live media and theater from College of Fine Arts. We have a mixture of graduate and undergraduate students participating in Texas Immersive. So it's a really nice mixture of students, and I'll let the students talk to you further about that. If you are not team oriented, if you like to work on your own, this specialization is not for you. This is definitely a team oriented, collaborative, very big groups, breaking down silos type of project. If you have an eye towards the new, this is right for you. You know, somewhere where you're looking to be on the cutting edge. Now, what is the sequence about? Overall, it's a convergence of 4 key areas: audience, storytelling, technology, and innovation. And this combination, the goal is to foster like deep emotional connections, create lasting impacts, and prepare you to take on real world challenges. So I'm looking for applicants who are explorers, thinkers, artists, copywriters, filmmakers, researchers, coders. Like, it really takes a lot to think about all of immersive. And it's about tying them all together and kind of taking it all as a whole. Now, I'm going to go through the 3 courses, and they're really focused on audience, story, and then I call it immersive. But why I have innovation is because an innovator, there are some key hard skills of becoming an innovator that Clay Christensen writes. And those are embedded skills in the way we do meaning making and practice sense making in an immersive experience in the classes. So there's audience, these 3 courses. if you are a Stan Richards School student, there is a prerequisite in that you should have completed and passed Advertising 325, which is the Intro to Creative Advertising. Other majors, you're contingent in the online application. Since you haven't taken ADV 325, I will ask you to share information on classes you've taken that have helped you to learn about the creative process. And then let's go into these courses. So in audience development and engagement, I give you a framework where you understand audience's intention, expectation, interaction, and relationship to space. And space can be both digital and physical. And the way we're going to do it is not only do I get you out into the field and I teach you about ethnographic research methods of like studying your audience, because it's so important for you to know and make your experiences audience centric. But then it's the first class. So I could have done more this semester, and I've learned going forward, you guys will be in the lab every week, trying out and experimenting and interacting with technology, or trying different demos or playing with it, because expectation and interaction is not just about reading about it on a Wikipedia page or watching a video, but instead it's actually about being the audience member yourself and playing with these experiences, because you get a whole new different lens of understanding what participation means, of understanding what agency means, on how creators personalize an experience, what the value is of that experience, all through embodying these experiences. So that's what you'll do in audience development and engagement. It is, I've heard, there's a lot of reading, and I definitely have lectures because it's a new field. You really need to understand the breadth of this field. But hopefully hopefully I'm entertaining. You can ask the students. And in regards to the reading is like a book club. So we read together. And I give a pretty pivotal book that helped launch the field of immersive, which is the art of immersion, which is one of my friends, Frank Rose, who's coming in a couple of weeks to speak with all the students. And you're more than happy to come join that class if you would like to. The next course is experimental storytelling. In experimental storytelling, my goal here is for you to understand how to expand mythology and archetypes, really to change the way we think about storytelling. So maybe in your English high school class, you learned about plot, with rising action and climax and falling action and denouement and all of that. Okay, that's traditional storytelling. We are beyond traditional storytelling. Here you will learn about more than just branching narrative. You'll learn about data-driven storytelling. You'll learn about different types of storytelling mechanics like cul-de-sacs and loops. You'll learn different affordances of this emerging technology, which you've been playing with in audience class. And now in this class, you have to start making. And you'll be doing different types of experiments through making. And this is the one where you also will start getting certifications. I expect all of my Texas Immersive students to be very comfortable in Adobe Suite, a creative suite, by the time they graduate. And honestly, they should be before audience and experimental storytelling. Like, we're going to push you beyond Adobe Creative Suite, which is just like the basics, to other types of platforms where you'll learn how to shape interactive storytelling, where the relationship between creator and audience starts becoming a shared experience. So we do a couple of different things. You can start following us now at 48 Moods on Instagram. This is my way of teaching you how to do simple stories and how to start like playing around with media, just traditional media. And I've been doing this since the first class I ever did with experimental storytelling. So there's thousands of posts already, all done by students who have gone through experimental storytelling. And then you'll do some experiments and smaller prototypes, and we'll end with a final project where I I model what it is like to work with a real world client, and you create something that will be passed down to the next cohort. And then the last class is Immersive Experiences. And this is the cumulative course. By this time, you've taken audience and you've taken storytelling. I don't allow you to take those two with Immersive in the same semester. So you'll have had to have finished those two before you get to Immersive. And Immersive is a 15-week project where you're working with a real world client, and the whole class has different expertise that they're contributing to make an immersive experience. So one of we're testing Immersive right now with Corey and Jack, two of my explorers. And our client is UT Admissions, and we prototyped a whole entire reimagined the prospective student experience. And now what they're doing is we're making it what we call form factor ready or professional, so that it becomes a permanent installation where 70,000 people will go through it a year. So I hope that by the time you get to this third course, not only do you have smaller spec work and portfolio pieces for your website, for your brand, your own personal brand, but also by this time, this third course, you have really worked with a real world client and learned the beginning from, like, you know, in filmmaking, we call it script to screen. In Immersive, it's literally like from clicks to bricks. You're doing both, you know, you're really doing the digital and physical in this immersive experience. And I try teaching you also what it's like to be in a seminar. While you're making, you have to be thinking. I give you a pretty hard book. Corey can talk about it. It's called Semiotics, but it's actually really an important book in thinking about design and thinking about how we make that I want you guys to walk away with. So this is a convergence of disciplines. You will walk out of here really understanding motivational behavior and how to build authentic relationships with audiences. You'll understand the technical skills needed to shape new stories that drive meaningful interaction. So that doesn't mean that I expect everybody that comes through Texas Immersive to become the developer, but I believe that you need to get into the mindset if you are an explorer, and really Immersive is kind of the edge field for a lot of areas. We kind of overlap a lot of different spaces. You need to be comfortable enough to know how it works. And know so that you're not talking out of your ass when you're talking to your client. You can clearly portray and show, not tell, what this type of experience could look like. You'll understand the importance of blending physical and digital in a connected environment. I think we are seeing right now with shelter in place how important physical connection is to our digital, and I think that we are on a real paradigm shift on how we will think about the relationship to physical digital in the future. And you'll understand the hard skills of being an innovator. So often people say, what type of jobs will I have? What can I get when I'm getting out of here? Experience designer, creative strategist, story strategist, digital designer. I've seen chief innovation officers. One of my grad students became chief participation officer. And that was a job that didn't exist before she made it. So, like, not only are there jobs out there, but there's also an opportunity where you can become an explorer and help create jobs that don't exist yet and fill those voids. So for the application process, there's two parts. Part one is you can go online, you can scan this QR code. It's an online survey. It asks for some specific contact information and for you to submit a media link to your portfolio or to a website and 1,200 words of less of why you think you would be right for Texas Immersive. And part two is the experience submission. So I want you in your own lens to define what is immersive to you. It can be in any media format to explain the subject, but there has to be some sort of call to action or interactive. So if you send me just a Word file, no, That's not immersive. That's not immersive. Unless actually there's some sort of hidden something in that word file and I'm like, you know, I get to go on a quest and all of a sudden something is revealed to me and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. You could surprise me with that. But just like a Word document telling me, not showing me what you mean by immersive, that won't work. However, you could use any media like you want to. I've had someone make me a Jenga puzzle, and it revealed hidden clues that I had to call and text message, and it kind of unlocked what immersive meant to this explorer. I've had Aero AR applications. I've had a VR experience. I've had interactive video where the video has call to actions within and brought me to like look at my world a little bit different. I've had sculptures. I've had subscription in a box style boxes with like a little scavenger hunt in it. I've had, you know, those staple sounds. I've had like a 3-part podcast through touching 3 different buttons that was on a frame. Those were all in the first cohort. So the key is it's short form. It explains what immersive is to you. So it's personalized. And it has some sort of call to action or interactive to engage me in the experience. You want a different relationship with you as the creator and me as the audience. So put that through. I always end with this great quote. I love this quote from William Pollard. Without change, there is no innovation, creativity, or incentive for improvement. Those who initiate change will have a better opportunity to manage the change that is inevitable, which, man, is very timely right now. And that's, to me, what my explorers are here at Texas Immersive. So the future is immersive. If you're not seeing that right now, you're cray-cray. Apply now, April 27th. That's next week at 12 p.m. If you have something physical, because we are dealing with shelter in place right now, you can actually just take pictures of it, take a video, and I've made a link in the Qualtrics in the survey for you to go and post it there. Or you can mail it to me if you want to mail it to me. I can give you my address. You know, I don't mind getting I don't mind getting presents. That would be awesome. So I'll stop there and stop sharing, and we can open it up to questions. Let's see, stop share. Answer any questions, and Corey gave me a wood block. Yes, Corey did give me a wood block with the whole story on it.
Yeah. The remaining wood block. So.
Oh, what is the Instagram? 48 minutes. Yeah. So does anyone have any questions?
I had a question. Can you take the audience development and engagement and then experimental storytelling concurrently, or is it more of a sequential thing?
Preferably, I would like you to take it sequentially.
Okay.
In any of these sequences, if you know, it's extra work, you know,
Okay.
like you're going to be working outside of class. It's a very intensive experience. It's team oriented where you'll be meeting with your team. So just thinking about your load, it's probably good to do one at a time. Right now, the students are taking audience and storytelling together.
Okay.
Next semester though, I'm sorry, fall, I'm teaching audience and immersive. So you would have to do audience, and then in the spring do storytelling, and then in the fall do immersive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's I can attest to how much worse to have one. Yeah, it's a lot.
And then in the summer course schedule, I also saw that there was a Immersive Hack Lab type thing. Is that related to?
It is. I actually created that summer session because I found that y'all were not at the skill level I would expect you to be by the time you graduate, especially if you're in this field. The Immersive Hack Lab is really giving you a leg up before you get into the, I really encourage you, before you even apply, or if you've applied and get accepted, to take that course, because I'm kind of testing it out right now with my experimental storytelling class, because we couldn't do our final project with our real world client. And what I've done is I've assessed each student and broken them into beginner, intermediate, or advanced groups. And the beginner groups starting with Photoshop and After Effects, and I make them create a whole project. They learn how to do a mock-up design in UI UX. And then the intermediate, they're learning After Effects and Blender. So they start getting into moving from a 2D to a 3D, because 3D space is super important when you get into immersive, and understanding 3D. And then the advanced is doing Blender and augmented reality. And if you think that you can just jump into augmented reality, like I'm going to do AR, without knowing the foundation, you're sadly mistaken. Okay, unless you think that AR is just a Snapchat filter, which it's not. Okay.
So I can go ahead and register for the summer class before I know if I got accepted to the program?
I would highly recommend it. Whether you got accepted or not, it's open to everybody, and I would highly recommend it. I'm really encouraging you in your time right now to learn Photoshop and After Effects and Premiere, because I'd like the Immersive Hack Lab to move forward, be it more intermediate and advanced, because I'm thinking about my students who are about to go into the immersive capstone.
Awesome, thank you.
So because this next group of applicants will only be my second cohort, I'm offering, I am trying to accommodate seniors, like I've done with Corey and Jack, out of order, or, making it work. I'm going to, I know I have audience and immersive as my two courses for the fall, but I'm going to see how many of those students are seniors. So I'm kind of working this through just this coming week, but I might be able to offer experimental storytelling. Just give me a week or two to figure that one out. But if so, then new people would be able to do audience and storytelling, and I would make the immersive course independent study, like I've done with Corey and Jack, until we get going. But come 2021, applications are only once a year, and it will then start slowly being like audience story, and because more people will know about Texas Immersive. And I cap out at 48. So it's good to get in now rather than later, because I have a feeling it will get more competitive as the program grows. So I think I answered, Ava, your question about can you do this in 2 semesters? Like, because if I can't get it figured out for the fall, you'd be taking audience, and then in the spring, you'd be taking story and immersive together. And that's hard.
Yeah.
I think that would be really difficult. I can see audience and story together, but not story and immersive. It's too much.
There's another question about the video from Valkyrie.
When you mentioned portfolio as a requirement for this, what exactly? Oh, I feel like you are your first brand. So whether you have a website now or not, you should have a website that is your own brand, that's starting to kind of showcase who you are, who you want to like portray to the public, what your style is. Even if it's experimental, you start kind of like framing your language, of how do you define yourself? That's what I mean on like a portfolio, is just even an initial website page, which you can build on Wix, Weebly, Squarespace. Like, doesn't even need to know HTML to build that. You guys have to know how to build a web page. That's super important. Yeah, that's totally fine. Adobe Portfolio. Yeah. How many graduate students are accepted? I don't have a specific number for that. I look at, I haven't, because it's still so new, I haven't broken up it. It's really kind of everyone. I look at everyone equally. I probably shouldn't do that, but how many, I've got 2 graduate students right now. And I probably look highly on bringing in grad students because I think like a few of my grad students that have gone through my program and one of my colleagues' program, Sven, are thinking about coming and getting their PhD in immersive. So I'm all about growing this program all the way.
Just say like briefly what some of that interaction has looked like between Sven's program and Texas Immersive. I'm not sure how applicable that would be for everybody on the call, but briefly, what does that look like?
Yeah, so Sven and I, we think a lot alike, actually. We both are really double down on storytelling, and not just storytelling. I'm come from Los Angeles, which has an entertainment play on it, but I really think more of the social and cultural aspect of storytelling and the relationship between creator and audience. And this is where Sven and I are always jiving. And we both come from theater backgrounds. So I started my career in theater. And Sven's got a long history in that. His students are more advanced technology and software wise than my students, that like students that have been in there. So it's been a nice balance of kind of also for master students to learn a little bit about mentoring and guiding undergraduate students. So it's been a nice kind of combo there. And giving a chance to lead in creative, I've been a creative director for 20 years. So really learning how to lead and be a creative director, I lean towards getting grad students a chance to do that type of work with a team, and be leaders, and learning those type of skills, I think is super important.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I follow up with my question about taking the classes as a senior?
Sure.
I switched majors, so I'm a little bit behind everyone, but I was planning on taking 325 in the fall, and then going abroad in the spring. So that's why I wouldn't be able to start the immersive coursework until my senior year. But if I were to do advertising 325 this summer, would that work, or would I have to actually show a pass grade on my transcript in order to apply to the immersive program?
Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough one. Were you planning on taking audience the first course in the fall?
Well, like that, I could.
So what I would suggest is apply. What I would do with you is apply. Take the intro to creative advertising this summer, and I will hold, and if you get in, it'll be on the caveat that you finish that class to start in the fall in audience. Make sense?
Okay, great. Sounds good. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah.
What other, where can we sign up for the summer program? The summer program's in registrar. It's under ADV 378, Immersive Hack Lab. First section. Any other questions?
Hi. So I have a question that was very similar to Eva's, and I guess I just want just further clarification because I am in a slightly different situation. So I'm currently a sophomore, and I am planning on taking advertising 325 over the summer. So your advice was to just go ahead and apply first, and the credit would transfer, right? It would transfer from the summer.
Yeah, if you pass. Now realize that unlike this semester, because we had disruption, they did the pass-fail. Summer, if you don't know, summer is going back to grades, right? So you have to get a B or above in ADV 325. So you can submit and just put some note on your application saying you're taking it. You might have to email me and say with this application, but then what I would do is I'd review as if you have accepted it, but then I'd hold you on knowing it until you've passed that class and you let me know.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I would say though, if you're around the summer, take and starting off, take the Hack Lab if you can too. can we apply in fall of 20? So yes, I'm doing in 2020, I'm doing 3 times for each semester. So I've accepted one, I'm accepting another one now, I'll accept in the fall, and then come 2021, it'll be once a year. So you have another chance to apply in 2020.
Could you, oh, sorry, was there,
No,
could
go
you
ahead,
talk a little
Jackson.
bit about what some of the client projects that you'd like to attack in the future would look like? Like, what are some hypothetical projects that the 3rd class would explore?
God, I've gotten so many offers. It's like what, okay, so UT has come back to me again, and they have this whole entire traditions wall, which literally are photographs on a wall, and don't really make sense. And they want us to, huh?
Not even labeled.
Yeah,
Well,
they're not
it's
labeled.
confusing.
Yeah, so we've gone and taken a look at it, and the goal is make their visitor center more of like an interactive museum experience, and the whole class would work on creating the guest experience design and laying out a proof of concept, and we would prototype some of that technology. So it's not just digital media. It's actually like, you know, a chance to tinker with Arduino or Raspberry Pi. I usually have a build team together that's actually doing woodworking or 3D printing. You know, like it's really a variety, from multimedia artists to build to producing, creative director, developers, writers. Like all these are different teams when we start working with a client. Another client is Residual, is here in Austin. They've come in and spoke to my audience class. They are doing the future of smart homes, and they just built out an experience design center. And they would love to be a real world client where we really take a real world problem in a home and think about it as from a user's experience. So we would be, I don't know if you know the term design fiction, but I teach students how to do design fictions, which are future scenarios of what the future of technology looks like in a home. And we would be kind of prototyping some of that out. That's another one. Who else has reached out? I've had, I mean, we're doing 8th Wall because 8th Wall is Web AR. They're really kind of the company to follow when thinking about Web AR, and we're working with them right now. They give us a license. Any student, UT student, can come and ask for access, and you can start building a Web AR experience because they want to see what students will be doing. So sometimes a technology company will come to me and be like, how would you push this further, you know, and maybe even give a theme, or I'll give the theme. So like, for example, with that one, I gave the students this, HEB is often a sponsor of my work, and they have this huge campaign going on right now called Texans Helping Texans, and the advanced students had to actually create some sort of Texans Helping Texans AR experience. And a few of them actually think HEB, when they come to the showcase the last week of class, will want to pick up and do. So my goal always is to get you guys jobs or future projects. So I try connecting you with clients like that. And then I've had like people like Capitol Records, because I have a pretty big network in LA. So I've had, oh no, I should tell you about, yeah, Van Jones. So Van Jones, he's a CNN journalist, and Elijah, who's one of the top VR directors in LA. They have given me access to all of their VR experiences, and they want us to help them think through the next development of like what other kind of stepping in someone's shoes experiences would we create to impact empathy. So that it really is the gamut.
Thank you.
Yeah. from
Spray paint.
advertising to smart homes to entertainment.
Yeah. Experimental storytelling semester, spray painted a bunch of these.
Yeah, that was last semester. You can't give away the bank, Corey,
A
but
what?
don't give away the bank. That's a surprise for the new cohort.
This?
Yeah, don't tell them. Oh,
Oh, you guys were reusing it.
no, we're not reusing it. We created something else. But I always have my experimental storytelling class create the first experience that the next explorers come into. So it helps them learn about storytelling and about learning how to work in different teams. And if you get accepted, don't expect just an email. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, this is immersive after all. Any other questions? Or Armand and Corey, do you want to share your experience so far? Because y'all have been in different classes.
Yeah, I'm an audience as well as the creative sequence in the Stanford School. And it's such a clear difference that immersive is where things are going. And I think this is such a cool sequence for you guys if you're interested in it. And yeah, the audience also what's cool is that while I remember coming to Erin about how I wanted to maybe work on more stuff, and then she's kind of open arms allowed me on the UT admissions project. So there's like a lot of different opportunities as well as the classes you're taking.
You want to share anything, Corey, or have any questions for Armand?
I'm very bad at just there unprompted by questions. But yeah, no, it's like I wasn't expecting to have this much fun. A lot of work, but it has mostly been work that putting a lot of time to because I want it to be good. Like experimental storytelling, I probably could have gotten away with less work and things still would have gotten done. It wouldn't have been as good. I wouldn't have been as good with it. It was something I wanted to work for. And so that's just kind of what drove me.
Yeah, so just to follow up on what Armand and Corey said, is these two explorers, they were curious. It's probably one of the key attributes of them that I love because they both also were willing to come up and ask for more. I want to do more, and I love that in a person. Oh, you want to do more? Here's the world, because there's 10 million things I can give you to do if you want to dive into this.
That was with the lab. I had been talking to John because I visited the lab a lot. And I was just like, hey, all your hours don't work for me. And I was just like, hey, do you think Erin would let us like sit in the lab? And he was like, go ask her. And so I asked you if I could keep the lab and keep it open more. And you were just like, I don't have to you. and I was
Sweet.
yeah, and then I was in there 4 hours every week.
Yeah, and opened it up to other students. So the lab, if you haven't had a chance to go there, it really, oh, thank you. I have to eat in a minute. I'm getting my dinner. The lab is a place that really will become, I think, your second home. You get to like go and play with all the different experiences are there that got a lot of equipment that is probably not affordable for everyone to have at their home. So you can really tinker and try things out, which I am a huge advocate for. I can't believe not every university has a space where you can just experience things, right? Instead of just going to go pay, what's that bar that's at the Domain where they used to have VR where you could like play VR, Punch Drunk, Punch Social, Punch Bowl. Yeah, Punch Bowl. And you could go do VR there when you could really do it at the lab for free. It's so much better. Yeah, and come to a meetup. We're still doing it even though we're not here on campus right now. We're doing meetups the second Wednesday of every month from 6 to 8. the last one we did a Facebook Live on food and immersion, and we had to each kind of like blindfold yourself at your own home and figure out different ways to eat food because we love food. And the upcoming one in May is going to be on automation and retail, and we're going to all meet inside Burbella, which is a virtual world. What are the other schools with similar grad programs? Oh, I follow Lance Wheeler at Columbia University has a digital storytelling lab that's similar. And Jeremy Balinson at Stanford has a VR lab. He focuses more just on VR, but he would be the other one that that's close to what we're doing. Any other questions?
Danielle asked where they can find the lecture after the session ends. So that can be posted on Youll.
Yeah, I will. I have a Texas Immersive YouTube channel, so I'll post it there. And Jasmine, who handles all the social, follow at Texas Immersive if you haven't already. At Texas Immersive, at 48 Moods, at Imagine Moody, at EB Reilly. We got a huge social following. You should all follow us. Sis. Oh yeah, about the lab. Yeah. Any other questions? Who's interested in applying, just so I can get a feel? Raised hands. Yeah.
There's a hand wave reaction on the reactions button, or a clap or a thumbs up.
Oh, great. That's great. Oh, wow. Look at all these hands. This is so neat. Awesome.
Sweet. Come to the lab only.
Oh, you're working on your application. That's cool. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, and I think, Joy, you asked, did you ask for my address? I think it like flew by. Oh yeah, let me just, I'll send it to you right now. Where are you? Here we go. Okay, anything else? Cool, bye y'all. Thanks for coming. Thanks Armand and Corey.
No problem. Look.